To first bring up the publisher of the Denver Urban Spectrum to welcome you. Her name is Rosalind B. Harris.
Good afternoon, everybody. Hey, you know what? We had a great program this morning, and I think this afternoon is going to be wonderful because we got all these wonderful young people in here that I think are inspiring inventors. Raise your hands, inspiring inventors. You're going to hear a little bit more about them later on this afternoon. But we thank you guys for coming in and all their families and friends, and you'll all know mine just later today. But I am going to keep this brief. I just want to thank our sponsors. Okay, I'd like to thank our sponsors. Our host sponsor is Cherry Creek Shopping Center. And our partnering and supporting sponsors are Wells Fargo, Janus, Denver Water, Ballard Family Mortuary, Xcel Energy, Walmart, Rod Smith International, and Gilmore Construction. So you guys enjoy the rest of this afternoon. Thank you. What? Oh, and it's also sponsored by McDonald's.
Okay, I am back. I would like to first say that we have a whole day of activities going on, a little bit taller than me. We have an entire day of activities going on. What we're doing right now is the youth component, and we are honoring some of our young inventors as well as featuring one of our young inventors, young adult inventors, with a keynote. But I would and then they are inspired to. Now I would like to introduce our MC for the afternoon, Orion Carrington. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Angelia. And of course, Denver Urban Spectrum, Ms. B. Harris and Tanya Ishikawa for inviting me to MC tonight, or this afternoon's wonderful panel. Young Inventors with John Guydon, CEO of the Lassy Project for the Me and the Dream exhibit. I'm excited to hear from John because when I was fresh out of college, I actually worked for an entrepreneurial magazine and had an opportunity to chat with a lot of the entrepreneurs and inventors that were a part of the magazine. They're featured as article writers and featured on the front of the magazine as well. And learning from them and hearing their thought process and how they go about things really shaped me into be who I am today. So I'm excited for you guys, especially our young inventors that are up front and all around in the audience, that you have the opportunity to hear from John and how he came around the invention process. So let's hear a little bit more about John. John is an entrepreneur who enjoys the challenges of starting new businesses that solve the world's toughest problems. He's a graduate from the University of Colorado, where he played football for Big 12 North Championship team. John has acquired success through the face of adversity since he was 10 years old. He has gained valuable experiences in the field of sales and marketing, as well as 10 years of mobile messaging expertise. John has become a leading expert in missing child cases to expose the issue of time in recovering abducted children. This, along with his commitment to keep his own family safe, is what drives his passion to create the Lassy Project. Ladies and gentlemen, let's please welcome up John.
Right. How's everybody doing? Good. Okay. I've got a quote for you all.
Just making sure.
Okay.
He looks good. Doesn't he look good?
That's an extreme close-up there. So here's the quote. A dream without action will remain a dream forever. Okay, I'm going to say it one more time, and I'm going to repeat myself throughout the talk today. A dream without action will remain a dream forever. When I was young, I was, 7 years old, I developed a very, very severe stuttering problem. The problem was so bad I could barely get a word out. Now here's a kid at a young age, I knew that I loved to speak. I had so much to say, I wanted to tell everybody everything all the time, but yet I couldn't get a word out. It was the most frustrating thing ever. And so my first aspiration, my first dream was to be able to speak like I am now. To be able to put words together without a severe stutter. How can I communicate with the world and I can't get a word out? It seemed pretty daunting, right? It's this big thing. And how do you do it? And where do you start? What's the first thing? Well, that theme, a dream without action will remain a dream forever, was evident to me on my 10th birthday. My 10th birthday party, it was a pool party. So we're here playing Marco Polo, and I was it. And I said Marco the only way that a 10-year-old boy with a severe stuttering problem could say Marco. And the kids replied Polo the only way that young kids with no idea how cruel children can be sometimes would reply. And that was my breaking point. I realized that something had to be done. I want to end this stuttering problem. I want to speak, but how do I do it? I don't know how long it's going to take. But someday I want to be able to speak like I am now. What can I do right now? What's the one thing I can do right now such that everything else is either less important or doesn't matter? Right? What's the one thing I can do to take action? So I went and I quit speech therapy. And the people at speech therapy wanted to, they said, look, John, we think that we can help you. And I said, you know what? I'm going to do this on my own. They said, that's not advisable. You don't have the training. You didn't go to college for this like we did. We're speech pathologists. We know what we're doing. We've been working with you. There's a process. You have to stick with the process. I said, I've been sticking with the process for 3 years. And I'm still stuttering. I've got to quit this thing. So I quit speech therapy and I decided to do my own program. I didn't know where to start. So I started with 3 things that I recognized that I could do without stuttering. The first thing that I could do without stuttering was to read in my mind. So I'd read every book I get my hands on. I read hundreds and hundreds of books. And when I read the book, I imagined that I was up on a stage. The word came together smooth as ever. Every time I read. I did it over and over and over again. The second thing that I recognized that I could do is to mimic the nightly news, a news anchor. So every night I would record the nightly news, and I would go to my room and I'd replay it in my room every night. A house fire killed 7 in McCormick County. James Holy has a story, James. Right? Every single night. I knew about every earthquake and mudslide and shooting that went on in Southern California as a kid. And the third thing that I recognized I can do without stuttering was to sing or to rap. So I would walk around the house singing everything. I made up classic hits like Can I Have a Sandwich? A couple other tracks like Who Drank All the Kool-Aid? That was all me. And my favorite, Roger Stop Bothering Me, with my brother. So fast forward 11 months and something quite amazing happens. I go to my grandfather's house and he greets me the same way he always does. Hello, grandson, how are you? And for the first time in years, I looked up to him and I said, doing pretty good. This weekend when we play against Long Beach, and they're pretty good, but I think we can beat them. And I said it just like that without any stuttering. Right? So that was kind of the first example of solving a problem. Right? I was really, really relentlessly focused on solving this problem. I recognized that something had to be done, and it had to be done now. I didn't want to look in the future and say, well, I'd love to stop stuttering one day, but I don't know how, so I'm just going to continue to dream about that. So let's fast forward. First day of 7th grade. We didn't have much money growing up. And my dad gave me 2 days of lunch money. This is the first day, 7th grade. My brother and I walked to school. He gave me 2 days of lunch money. He said, son, you need to make this last a week. I looked at him and kind of did the math in my head. This is 2 days worth, So I was frustrated. I knew at that point I didn't want to struggle financially when I was older, right? I had a dream of having money. Now, specifically, I wanted enough money to buy a pool, right? As a 7th grader, that was my goal. So that's the dream, right? I want to be financially independent. I want to have enough money for candy and for food and for all these things. And my frustration, I kept asking myself, okay, well, that's in the future. That's one day, but I need to eat today. I need to eat tomorrow. So what can I do now? What's the one thing I can do now such that everything else is less important or doesn't matter? And I took the 2 days worth of lunch money and I went straight to the grocery store and went straight to the candy aisle. I started crunching the numbers. I finally settled on mini Snickers and caramel apple pops. So I took every dime of my lunch money. I think I had 18 cents left over. I bought caramel apple pops and I bought mini Snickers and some plastic baggies. I put them in the bag, zipped them up, went to first period, and a kid taps me on the shoulder and says, "Hey, let me have one of those." And I leaned back and I told him, 25 cents for $100. And I never asked my father for lunch money again. Right? That was it. I paid for my cleats that way. All of the fees in school that way. The yearbook that way. Oh, and of course, lunch and candy and fun and all the things that the other kids had that I dreamed of having. Same thing, same scenario. Right? A dream without action will remain a dream forever. So, fast forward to 2012. Right? I'm been out of college for quite some time. I had a previous startup company and just kind of winding that down and kind of looking at what I wanted to do next. And that's when a little 10-year-old girl by the name of Jessica Ridgway was abducted here in Colorado. And at the time I probably lived about 15 minutes away from her. And I've got 3 children. My wife and I have 3 children, 2 little girls. So it hit me real hard. I mean, I thought about that and I looked at that, and the more I looked into this situation, the more I was bothered by the facts. How long it took to get the information out. The lack of the quality of the information. The fact that we couldn't galvanize a community for days. We couldn't get the Amber Alert out for hours. We couldn't get people looking until it was too late. I asked myself, what would I do if that was my little girl? What would I do if that was one of my children? So I knew right then I had a new dream. I dreamed of a new way we could think about personal and public safety. I thought about preventing child abductions before they happen in the first place. I thought about a way that we could find lost children faster. I broke down all the components. I didn't know where to start. Not an expert at finding lost children faster, at least I wasn't. But I dug into the issue, one at a time, one thing at a time. First I had to find out what the situation is now. After I learned that, I realized that there was an opportunity to create something, and that's why we created Lassy Project. Lassy Project is an app that gives parents the ability to notify an entire local community about their missing child in seconds. Every 40 seconds in the United States, some parent calls the police and reports their child missing. Every 40 seconds. Now, some of those children are hiding in the clothes hamper. Some of those children, it's a very serious issue. The problem is you can't tell the difference between one to the other until it's too late. There's bad people out in the world, we know that. We also know good people outnumber bad. The problem and the culprit that nobody wanted to tackle, and the problem that nobody wanted to solve, is time. And so that's what we set out to solve. Lassy Project works as such. A parent signs up and creates a profile for their child, a picture, vital information. Then they create a hand-selected network of friends, family, and close neighbors. We call that the village. So they create their village. And then they go about their daily lives. Now, there's all sorts of cool technology. We can talk about that. I'm happy to dive into that in Q&A. But in a nutshell, when a parent discovers that their child is missing, they now have the ability to pick up the phone, open the app, and tap escalate. That notifies their hand-selected network right now. Hey, I need you to take a look what's going on, because most of the time, it is a miscommunication. I thought they were going here, but they're going there. I thought you were going up, but you're going down. I thought you were staying in, but you're going out. But if it's not that scenario, then we jump into action and we can notify the entire surrounding community. Now, this was put to use earlier last fall when Lakewood Police Department gave us a phone call. A little 10-year-old girl went missing in Lakewood, Colorado, and they called us. Right? Keep in mind, a year and a half ago, this didn't exist. Right? Now, they called us and they said, we need your help. We sent a message out to 276 people in an 8-block radius. They had a picture and last known location right on their phones. And 20 minutes later, that little girl was home, safe with her parents. This is what we set out to create. This is what we set out to create. Now, we're not done. Lassy Project has villagers in how public having a stroke. Wonderful idea. With gray hair. Possible. It sort of thought. That a dream for peace. Term goal. That's no matter what it is. to achieve a 5-year goal. Think that's enough? One-month goal. Have the now you and the 7 you trying to accomplish? I'll leave you with Lassy Project. But it doesn't work.
Lassy Project. Here, she
Kitty.
There's a kitty behind you. Huh? That's imagination. Anybody else have any kind of questions? I know I had one. So, what is some, you mentioned you were going to get into it, so I'm going to just go ahead and get it going. What is some of the technology that is associated with the Lassy Project?
Sure. So one of the main technologies that we use is crowdsourcing, right? We created a platform using really geeky Node.js. We created what's called a stateless environment, and in the world of technology, you have the ability to geolocate a community. So, for example, what if we wanted to notify everybody in the mall to evacuate the mall? How do we do that? So we created a way to actually pinpoint people in the mall. Those across the street from the mall don't need to get that message because they're not in the mall. So an Amber Alert, when it goes out to the entire state. It's not very helpful because the child can't be in every corner of the state. When that goes out, it goes out to everybody. So we created that crowdsourcing technology first and foremost. We've also created these additional tools that parents can use to, even before they discover their child's missing, mitigate that at the pass. So an example would be a kid leaves from home to school, and there's a specific route the child travels to go from home to school. With Lassy Project, a parent can actually program school, the route they take to and from that place. We'll make sure that if they deviate from that course, right, if they go off course, if they make a left turn instead of a right turn, mom and dad are notified right now. That way, instead of going, hey, what happened? The kid had made it to school, they know the moment they go off course. So it's, hey, what's going on? They can investigate. Again, all about time.
How many people can you do this service
These guys are limited. So the question was, how many people can we do the service for at one time? There's no as many people as there are on the planet. Literally, and we've also created an API which allows us to work with non-traditional devices that are not things that are not phones. So long as Bluetooth. So very, very soon, and the hardware already exists, the software already exists, now we're just releasing it to parents to test out and perfect. But what it is called passive search. So never before will we be able to, every phone in here is a search and rescue team without you even looking at anything. So imagine a little device that you give to a child, put it in their backpack, in their shoe, a lanyard, a bracelet, right? It could be any one of those things. When a phone discovers that thing, the child is missing, the phone discovers that thing, it's going to relay that information to the server tells the parents and the police. So we'll literally make it virtually impossible for someone to take a child or a child to go missing for too long in the United States. I think it's, people can kind of imagine a world where a child goes missing, there's closed circuit cameras that are surrounding that child that turn on. Right? So we've gotten all of this data, all of this information right now instead of waiting and working a case.
How are you going to be able to connect to the police or their parents? Like, are you going to use like a telephone pole, or are you going to use Wi-Fi?
Nice question. That's awesome. So we're endorsed by 15 police departments and growing, and we're also endorsed by 4 cities. But from an infrastructure perspective, to communicate, we're using the same. So we have SMS technology, so we send a text message. We have a dynamic link that people hit. Once they hit that link, they're taken to a page that lets them know the location, picture of the child, and we can change that and update that as we see fit. As it relates to location, that's a deeper question. We use Bluetooth, we use GPS, we use GSM, which is the cell phone tower, we use Wi-Fi as well. All of the things that a phone uses currently to determine location.
So if like somebody that took the child is in the country part of the town, like not in the city,
Right.
but and there's no like telephone towers or anything like that.
Right.
How that piece that you would put in the backpack or on the menu connect to the how they know they can draw and they're in a far part of town where there's no internet connection or Wi-Fi or anything like that.
Well, if there's no internet connection or Wi-Fi or cell phone towers, there's probably no people. Not.
I had a question that Do you think in research back in the 50s, 60s, there was this much as far as missing children, youth children, things going on that seem today were inundated on the news, everywhere in the news, somebody's missing, somebody got assaulted, somebody. You think back in the 50s and 60s it was just as bad and not reported, or has it increased as well?
Absolutely. So some of the same egregious things that are happening now happened, decades ago. We just didn't have the the information age just wasn't here. So, when Michael Jackson passed away, the whole world knew in 7 minutes. The whole entire world, every corner of the globe got the information in 7 minutes. That didn't exist then.
How do we get this kind of
Love that question. I'll repeat that. How do we get this, being Lassy Project, and how do we link it to our children? Go to lassyproject.com, L-A-S-S-Y. Couldn't afford to spell it the other way. Go to lassyproject.com and just sign up. It's really, really easy. If you have any questions, there's ways to use the contact us form. We have folks that on the app, but very, very easy. And we have an app, right? So go to the App Store, look for Lassy Project, download the app, and you can create your child profile in seconds. Don't just download the app. Download the app, share it with everybody, get some t-shirts, put those on, walk around all the time with the t, and and then create your child profile, and you're good to go.
Okay, when did you join the business? Where's the headquarters and are you publicly traded?
So I'll answer that in reverse. So no, we're not publicly traded, we're a private company. We officially formed in January of 2013, and we went through TechStars, which is a tech accelerator here in Boulder, Colorado, which was very, very beneficial for us. And we are a distributed team. So we've got employees in, let me see if we can get this right, I don't leave anybody out. We're in Colorado, of course, the Woodlands, Texas, where I am, Santa Monica, California, Utah, Arkansas, and DC. We believe that the smartest people on the planet are not located in just one or two cities. So we want to create a distributed team where people can be effective at what they're doing, and also be able to reside in the area that they want to reside. I'm sorry. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So you can't hack what you can't get access to, and that we can't keep. So if you look at any tracking company, right, that says, I just want to find out where my kid is, that's not what we do. We take information, we make a decision about it, and then we throw it away. We throw it away so that there's nothing that's stored that people are going after to go get. The only time an alert would ever go out about a child, you as a parent want that alert to go out about a child. And that's the last person that somebody who's bad is going to want to go after is somebody that everybody's looking for. It's the equivalent of a kid that's missing that's on the news. They're on the news because they need the public's help. So it's the only time that information comes out. And that link is dynamic, so that's a live link. So we shut that down when it's done, and we'll close the loop. As it relates to security. Also, our server, it's not like a bank vault, right? It's a stateless environment. So if think about every light in this room could be a server. We've got copies of our information on every single server. You got it. To make this work, you guys have to join the community. You guys have to be connected. This isn't an air alert where we're going to just go by the carrier and send you some shrill message at 6 in the morning or 10:30 at night, where you're going to look at it and hit the button and then you continue to sleep, or, well, usually when you sleep, continue to go out to sleep. We won't do that. We want everybody to be mindful of what this is. Know that when you get a Lassy alert, it's hyper-local, it's hypersensitive, right? It's in your neighborhood. You know what they look like. It's the difference between somebody coming in here and saying, hey, a kid went missing 6 hours ago. They interrupt us. They say, have attention, please. A kid went missing 6 hours ago from Pueblo, Colorado, and they were seen driving in a green minivan. Everybody's just going to look back and go, oh man, that's horrible. But nobody is going to get up out of their seat and go look for that green van. What are the odds that they're driving past the Cherokee Ball right now? Compare that to somebody coming in here and saying, guys, I'm missing my kid in the mall somewhere. Here's what they look like. Please help right now. She's 8 years old. She's probably scared. Here's, her name's Annie. He would probably go help look for that child. Big difference.
You're talking about parents going in and signing up children. My children are grown, my grandkids are in high school and going away to college. Why would I want to sign up for it? Is that not appropriate for me to sign up?
I love that question, so I'll repeat it as well. Your kids are grown, right? And you said you're a grandparent. Wonderful, congratulations. So absolutely. So, well, I'll give you the obvious answer first. What if your grandkid goes missing? Don't you want to be a part of the community to help find your grandkid? Right?
My grandkids would probably kill them.
Right? So that's one. And two, keep in mind, the only way it works is that. So if everybody joins the community, then we can help. But if they don't, they say, like, I don't have a kid. I'm good to go. Then it will never work. It will never work in the community if you don't say, oh, I'm a part of that, of course. If a child in your neighborhood is missing, wouldn't you stop and look for that child? Then that's why you should join.
Okay, so it's not just for parents to join.
Right.
It's for anybody in the
The
neighborhood.
people is the product. I mean, the people are the product. Without the people, the technology is useless. It's worthless. It does not work. It's kind of like if Facebook was good and nobody went on it, it wouldn't be about anything. Or Twitter or any of those other technologies.
Any kind of a deterrence to the bad guys?
Say again?
Any kind of a deterrence
Right,
to the bad guys?
right.
If a guy says, I'm going to kidnap that girl and stalk her, and then thinking, well, cops look for me an hour, or you have the whole community looking for you, there's a chance of
Right. So we're starting to do these things called community challenges, where we show the world how fast a community can find a missing person using Lassy Project. That is purely designed to do two things. One, to encourage people to join, and two, to let individuals know that may be thinking about taking a child, but you know what? It's not worth it. Because within moments, this entire community is going to know what's going on. Remember, our goal to prevent this from happening in the first place, we have to start somewhere, and that somewhere is finding lost children faster. This tagline is going to change. In fact, it's going to change next week. Because that's not really what it's about. It's about bringing the community together so we can do all sorts of things. Kids, dogs, special needs, the elderly, somebody with Alzheimer's or dementia who is wandering and they're out and it's dangerous because they don't know where they are and they can get hurt. We want to find that individual, right? There's all sorts of scenarios. Or if there's a tornado warning or something like that, and you don't happen to be watching TV, or you don't own, say you don't have cable, what's the best way to communicate with you at that point? This is going far beyond just missing children. Think about health, think about safety. Two people hiking in Colorado that are supposed to be back by 4:30. If they're not back by 5, we should let some people know. Let the ranger know, let my wife know, let a couple of people in the area know so we can go get them. As opposed to going, I don't know, they were supposed to be back, it's 8:30 and I'm not sure what's going on. That's why we have casualties in Colorado, people hiking. So it's much deeper than that. It's, I hope that you join because you want to be a part of this community that we're building. And that you want to help make a difference and help us change the way we think about personal and public safety.
I have one other question. In this day and age where everybody's open, the green band made me think of a question. Your app had the ability to cut into the radio in the car or music in the car like a cell phone did, get your attention because if you're texting, some places take it when you're on the phone, but most people carry the phone in the pocket and they would text that. But if you pop it over the radio at the same time, just a brief, check your cell phone first opportunity. Something like that. That was a piece of technology.
You should join the product team. It's in our roadmap. I mean, there's the options are endless. Right? So we literally could have a whole hour discussion about how we can step this thing up and up and up and up and up. The introduction of drones and all sorts of stuff. I mean, imagine a kid goes missing and the drones are up and they're looking. Who knows?
How do you market this technology?
Right now, word of mouth. Word of mouth. Almost 2,300 zip codes in every U.S. state because people are telling other people. So we're going to continue to spread the word. We've just begun some PR efforts. So just got back from New York and did some stuff with Fox News Online and HuffPost Live, and we'll continue to do that. So that's the idea. People just need to help us kind of evangelize that story.
Are you familiar with nextdoor.com?
Absolutely.
How is that? I mean,
Next door is like Facebook for communities, right? So people will join this private social network that is next door, and so you can find out if somebody's, some kids are stealing trash can lids in the neighborhood, or check this out, or that type of thing, right? Buy, sell, trade stuff in the neighborhood, things of that nature. So it's quite different in that regard. People have to be on their computer and receive a message or something about various things. Does anybody know a good plumber in the area? Or can you keep it out of my house? I'm going to go away for a while, or things like that. And we have a really very, very specific focus. Our focus is to protect children, to protect communities. That is our focus. It's not to connect you with the best plumber. It's not to do any of that other stuff. It's all about your safety. It's all about us being able to live our lives and let our kids be kids and do those things. So I hope individuals here that are thinking about things, whatever it is, don't be discouraged that it doesn't exist. Don't be discouraged it's never been done. Or don't be discouraged because it seems really, really hard or really, really far away. We spent lots of time and money and all sorts of things that we did not have when we started this. We set out to create this. We didn't have it. It didn't exist. Went to somebody and said, here's the dream, here's what we need, and here's how you can help. And then we got somebody to say, okay, here's some money, go do it. Oh, wow. Then we did that, and it was like, okay, what's the next step? We built this, and we tested this, and so I was, learning, and it's that kind of quest. And we're not by any means done. I mean, we've got off to a good start, and now it's time to continue that. That's a great question. How did I approach Jessica Ridgway's mom, who, by the way, now works for Lassy Project? She is on our team, so it's really cool. We put something out on Facebook, and the Jessica Ridgway's legacy liked it on Facebook. So that was my end. So when they did that, I was like, okay, this is my opportunity, right? Because this is a sensitive thing. I mean, So I sent this message on Facebook and said, here's who I am. Here's why I started this thing. I don't know what your reaction's going to be. And that's it. And it was very positive. So very fortunate that the Ridgway family has embraced Lassy Project, embraced us, and that Sarah has joined the team and is helping us to create a lasting legacy, based on our story. So we're very, very, very grateful to have Sarah on our team and have the entire Ridgway family to be a support structure for us. Absolutely, yeah. Chief. Absolutely, yeah. We've that's one of 14 police departments that are supporting Lassy Project. So we're going to figure out how to make this household name and how to create a new standard. Because currently, the way that we attempt to read out a parent with their missing child is not good enough. It's not good enough. So we all know that the time is the biggest thing, right? When a child goes missing, it's all about time. The first 3 hours is the most critical. And that's the part where we're lacking. So we want to kind of attack that.
I know you're going over for smaller children, right?
No, so smaller children, if you don't have smaller children, whether they're smaller or older or don't have phones, it doesn't matter. At the core, a parent can join Lassy Project, create a profile for their child, and if they discover that they're missing, they can hit that button, whether they have a device or not. That's still 10 times better than the current status quo. Because you have a last known location, you can get it out right now. As opposed to calling the police, that's an additional 37 minutes, and then they look, and then now you're down an hour and a half. You can take an hour and a half and turn that into a second. So you don't have to have any sort of device whatsoever. In fact, just join, create the profile, and that's it. And then we'll let you know, hey, we got this cool thing. And we're going to keep letting people know, as we continue to iterate on this. And this is a work in progress, right? This is not something that we're presenting and say, hey, this is perfect. Just like any invention, right? Any creation, you're gonna get it. You're gonna have to figure it out. Angry Birds. You guys know about Angry Birds, the game? So those guys set out to create this game to own the space of, I got some extra time. We want to create a simple-minded game that was fun for everybody to play, no matter what age, and they're going to take the world by storm with this game. Well, that was their 50-second app. That was their 50-second app. They created 51 apps that was horrible. It wasn't fun. It did take the world by storm. Nobody wanted to play. Traded them. That was number 52. WD-40. You guys know about WD-40. Who knows what WD-40 stands for? Come on. Okay, WD-40 stands for water displacement, 40th attempt. So this dude he had a bunch of squeaky door hinges in the backyard, and he says it, he tries it, and says some bad words, and then tries it again. And the story has it that on the 39th door, he was fed up, frustrated, fed up. And his wife comes and says, "What's wrong?" He says, "I've done this 39 times and I haven't figured out how to do it, and I know the thing." And again, this isn't just mixing a recipe. I mean, this takes a lot of work to get one thing. He says, "I got this, I got that, I can't do it." And she said, "I can go get more doors and more hinges." Real calm, real simple. So this is a work in progress. And, we need you guys to help, right? Give us that feedback.
Does it stop there? Or you call in, my wife get home, we got like 24 hours. Is all that eliminated?
Well, yeah, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, there's no waiting period. That's why you create your network.
Before you call in, like, your daughter at home, sure they got
Exactly.
something like that.
Exactly.
All that's thrown
Right. So when a child runs away, which is a very dangerous scenario, what parent, by show of hands, wants to wait 24 hours to wait? Let me know who you are. No parent wants to wait 24 hours? Okay. So we created something that makes it so you don't have to wait 24 hours. Yeah. We're not the police. We're not the government.
I'm saying
We're a group of entrepreneurs.
Call cops, what they call, you gotta wait 24 hours.
They can wait as long as they want. We are not waiting.
I don't know if they get the alert too.
They can get the alert, yeah. And maybe they'll look. Maybe they won't. I can't control that. What I can control is what we've created and what you guys are going to help us build and grow. Then we can look for that little girl that is missing right now. Instead of 24 hours from now, 2 hours from now, or even 30 minutes from now. You got it. It's up to us. What are we going to do if the door is locked and there's a fire on this side? We going to wait for the fire department? Well, they're going to be for 37 minutes. What? It's burning now. You got to get out now. We rely on each other. It's the community that changes this thing. So we wanted to use technology to bring people together in a way that makes sense. We don't all have to be best friends. We don't all have to do, go to barbecues together and swim in each other's pools, even though that would be nice. We don't have to do all of those things. But we are people. And we all do care about our kids, and we care about our families, and we care about the community. And we want to make sure that it's a safety-minded community. We can do it better. And that's what Lassy Project is all about. And that's why we're here. That's why we started this thing.
We got time for about one more question. Well, I have one last one unless anybody else has one. You talked about the one thing. So, what if somebody out there, we have a lot of young inventors out there, what if somebody out there is stuck and they don't even know where to go in the first place to get the one they don't know the far away thing to get the one big thing or the one right now thing. So how do they even get there? How do they go get their mind there so they can even start?
So first thing I would do is go through the exercise, right? If you said they don't know, we can stop right there. That is one thing. So there's at least one thing. There's already one thing on the list. If you want to be a mechanic and there's one thing you don't know, well, it might be your one thing, right? So start with it. It doesn't matter what it is. Find out what you don't know. Go until you have a roadblock, and then go, okay, you assess it. This is a question you ask yourself every single day. Actually, it's a question you ask yourself after every task. After everything you do, you sit and go, okay, what's the one thing I can do such that if I do it, or such that by doing it, it makes everything else either not important or unneeded, right? Unnecessary. And I think that comes from the actual exercise. So no matter what the idea is, I don't care what the idea is, doesn't matter what it is. Literally, work yourself backwards. I want to create this world. Okay, that sounds great. What do you need to do in the next 5 years to make that happen? What do you do in the next year, the next month, the next week, the next day, right now? And if you don't have the answer, find something that you don't know and then know it. And then by knowing all of these things, you will develop that next one thing. It's a series of one thing. It's one domino, then it's another domino, then it's another domino, and all of a sudden, here.
All right, well, make sure you guys download the Lassy Project on your phones or any smart devices that you guys have, and give it up for John Guydon. All right, now we have a lot of young inventors in here, and that's because we have the Young Essay Contest that took place. So we're going to invite up Ms. B. Harris to announce the winners.
Hello again. I'm just going to take a minute to introduce myself. I'm the publisher of the Denver Urban Spectrum, and also Tanya Ishikawa. She's our copy editor, and our managing editor is Angelia McGowan. Thank you. We also serve in another capacity. We have another company that the three of us work, and it's called BAT PR. So we are producing this event for the Denver Urban Spectrum. We did it last year. So we're hoping that you're enjoying it. So now, let's give another round of hands for John. It was wonderful. So I guess you guys are wondering what all this stuff is up here. We, as you heard earlier, we did an essay contest. We've got 2 winners, and we've got 3 young men who are honorable mention. No, I think they're all guys, weren't you? Rosendo Jimenez.
We're going to do some photos so the people who get the honorable mentions.
Oh, she's gonna do it. No, she's gonna do it.
Oh, are you ready?
Was it?
Come on.
Well, we can do it with families later.
And these 3 students, Carlos Ortega. These 3 students are from the Center of Hope Academy. Congratulations.
Okay.
Okay, you're looking at me.
And our 3rd honorable mention is Jason Padilla. Jason Padilla. So wouldn't luck have it that the 2 winners are 2 little girls? Okay. Okay. How are we going to do this? I think we're going to choose Miss Amina Fard. What she's going to do is read her essay. We have this beautiful plaque here is going to be presented to her school. So I hope there's somebody here from her school that can accept this on her behalf. And she's got a pretty good goodie bag herself. Amina is going to read her essay, and then she's going to be followed up by our second winner, second first place winner.
So Walmart and McDonald's.
Walmart and McDonald's?
Yep, are sponsors for the projects.
Walmart and McDonald's are partner and sponsors for these gifts today.
My name's Amina. I'm in 6th grade and I go to Odyssey. Okay. My 2 quotes were, there comes a time when silence is betrayal, and if I cannot do great things, I can do small things in a great way, by Martin Luther King. The invention I would create that connects to my favorite MLK quotes would be a Kids Speak event. My event would happen every year on MLK Day by a selected group of kids from Denver schools called Kids Speak. We would discuss things in history that are very important and should not be forgotten. An example of this is a kid would lead the discussion about an important societal issue like homelessness or hunger, and how we as kids can make a difference by speaking our ideas and creating solutions. Although my invention is not an object or device, it is a creation of a system for kids to make change in the world, and is considered a cultural invention. A cultural invention is an invention, according to the dictionary, that are not physical but encompass such things as language, politics, and systems of laws. What problems or void do you want to address? The issue that I am addressing is that kids have a voice and adults should not be the only people in the world that address our world problems. In Kids Speak, we will communicate and encourage other kids to say what they believe and not be afraid to do so. How will your solution address the problem? My invention of Kids Speak would provide a safe place and platform to encourage kids to get involved, educate, and recognize that if we start to make changes to the problems we have now, it could prevent the same problems from happening in the future. How will your invention improve the society? I believe my invention will improve society by letting everyone know that kids see the problems that are happening in the world, want to make a change, and have solutions that can make a difference. I believe that this is a way to make a small improvement in a great way, and I believe Kids Speak is a solution for kids to begin saying what they believe in a positive way. My invention gives us kids the chance to prove that even though we're small, we have a voice and that we can make great things happen.
And by the way, the CEO of Banneker Watches and Clocks, he will be here at our 4:30 session talking about Benjamin Banneker. So if you guys are planning on hanging around, you can meet him. I think he's running a little bit late today. And the school representative, did we have a school?
Somebody from the Odyssey.
Did anyone
So
come?
we did receive word that someone was trying to be here and that did not happen, so I will accept the award on behalf of the school, on behalf of Odyssey.
And these those clocks are Benjamin Banneker commemorative clocks. Hopefully you can come up afterwards and read about Benjamin Banneker, one of our first African American inventors. An incredible person.
Our second first place winner, that's kind of cool, huh? Two first place winners. Her name is Jamie. She's going to read her essay right now.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "I believe that unarmed truth and unconditional love will have the final word in reality. This is why right temporarily defeated is stronger than evil triumphant." Have you ever heard of an Amber Alert? I make an Amber Alert wristwatch. There are many ways for people to use this device, as well as a lot of situations the wristwatch could be helpful. It would look like a normal wristwatch, but on the back it would have a programmable 4-digit code that would allow a person in danger to enter the code to notify a local police station of the GPS coordinates of the person in danger. As a failsafe, if the Amber Alert wristwatch was to be removed from the person, without a code being entered, the wristwatch beeps and then sends the GPS coordinates to the local police station. This Amber Alert wristwatch would not just help children from being abducted, but could also be used by adults. For instance, a woman walking alone, she notices that she is being followed by a man. She could feel more at ease knowing that if she were to be attacked, she could easily notify the police by either putting in her code to alert the police or by just removing the Amber Alert wristwatch, which will notify the police of her location. Another example. Picture a young girl walking home from school. She is wearing an Amber Alert wristwatch. She sees a man who is calling her over. "Hey girl, come over here. I'm a friend of your mom's and she wanted me to pick you up today." Let's pretend for a moment. The girl did not know better, and she gets in the car. Soon she realizes that her and the man are not traveling toward her mother's work. She gets worried and is able to put her code. Put in her code, alerting the local police station of the GPS coordinates. Even if the man notices her Amber Alert wristwatch, if he tears it off of her, it will still alert the police station. Those are just two examples of how the Amber Alert wristwatch would be helpful. This device would also allow children to feel safer in the world. It would discourage kidnapping as they would not be aware if that person possibly had the Amber Alert wristwatch. Based on the identity of the perpetrator, there are 3 distinct types of kidnapping. Kidnapping by a relative of the victim, or also known as family kidnapping, which is at 49%. Kidnapping by an acquaintance of the victim, or also known as acquaintance kidnapping, which is at 27%. And kidnapping by a stranger to the victim, or also known as stranger kidnapping, which is at 24%. And I got this information from parents.com. In conclusion, I think this invention would be helpful in preventing kidnapping and allowing people to be rescued and brought to safety. Thank you.
I'm not supposed to be up here, but wow. You also need to join the product team. Let me give you my card. Amazing. Love the thoughtfulness about breaking down the problem. You're an amazing young woman so far. I'm blown away by what I just heard, because we have a lot of really smart people in the room talking about some of the same exact stuff, and it wasn't as well thought out as what you just created. So I would love to help you make that a reality. So please reach out.
So we're bringing up a teacher from her school, which is Florida Pittwaller School, and then later we can bring up families for more photos. So yes, this is great. Your team.
Just a little bit of coffee in your face.
All right, here we go. Keep on waiting. All right, here's the real photographer.
Yeah, would you say it right there? Yeah, that's fine. Recreate something.
By the way, and this is the father of Alina, just one.
Wow.
So we'll let Orion close out the program so that people who want to start mingling and mixing can. He'll give us some last remarks and then we can continue with the photos. And there's some more refreshments, cookies and such.
Yeah, definitely more refreshments so you guys can mix and mingle. But yeah, congratulations again to our winners. That awesome ventures making connections with entrepreneurs and everything. That's great. Give it up for our winners. I'm glad you guys all came out this evening, or that's evening time by now, yeah. This evening, thanks so much to our sponsors, Cherry Creek Shopping Center, for allowing us to be in this wonderful venue. Wells Fargo, Janus, Denver Water, Ballard Family Mortuary, Excel Energy, Walmart, Rod Smith International. Make sure you check them out on the Denver Urban Spectrum magazine right now. It's on the cover. Gilmore Construction. Special thanks to Ed Dwight for lending his sculptures. Make sure you guys check those out as you guys are mixing and mingling. Make sure you stick around for our next event that's happening at 4:30. Dreams Realized, local historians sharing stories about lives and legacies of African American inventors. And of course, check out the exhibit downstairs in the grand courtroom. Go to the Urban Spectrum website for the Me and the Dream, more information on the Me and the Dream exhibit and programs, and you can check out more about the people that are speaking and everything else. Thanks so much for coming out, guys.
Thank you.
So you're helping us consider home before work.